Hi, I'm Rachel with Fontaine Organizing. I'm going to talk to you about paid subscriptions for software. I recently was considering whether I wanted to upgrade from the free version to a paid version of some software that I was using for my business. And as I did so, it dawned on me that pretty much every software that I use has some sort of a subscription model. And there are a lot of pieces of software that I use. So I made a list and found out that I was spending hundreds of dollars a month on monthly or annual software subscriptions for my business. And of course, I also have personal subscriptions, which many of you do, including things like streaming services and Amazon. Now, I work with people to organize their finances and provide financial coaching. So I'm a little embarrassed to admit that my subscriptions have gotten so out of control. Now, part of the problem is that companies that used to provide software for a one-time purchase have stopped offering that option. Software that falls into that category is things like QuickBooks or Quicken. Other companies like Zoom have changed their policies. Zoom recently stopped offering free meetings for two people for more than 40 minutes. And that was frustrating. So I was forced to upgrade in order to continue to use it in the way that I was using it before. Now, I'll also fess up that it is pretty hard to resist signing up for the newest, greatest thing that everybody's supposed to be using that's going to solve all of the problems. You know what I'm talking about. If I subscribe to this fancy new task list program, suddenly I'll be motivated to stop procrastinating and get all those things done that I said I was going to do. So after confronting the reality of my out of control subscription spending, I vowed to look for ways to simplify my software use and eliminate unnecessary software from my life. So I want to review with you the steps that I took to get things under control. First, I went through my bank statement for the past 12 months to find all of the subscriptions that I'm paying for. It's pretty disturbing to think about how many I didn't even think to list when I started listing before looking them up. So just the ones that I remembered were pretty substantial, but then there were a whole bunch that I had forgotten about, but that I caught when I looked at my billing statements. Second, I listed out what functions I was using each of those programs for. Third, I listed what functions each program could provide, even if I wasn't actually using it at the moment. And this allowed me to see if multiple programs would provide the same functionality. For example, I have a CRM program that allows me to sign documents, and I also have Adobe, which allows me to sign documents. Fourth, I considered whether the things that I was using the programs for were really even necessary or whether I could cut them out completely. For instance, I was paying for a program that linked two other programs together, and I realized that it was not something that was even necessary or useful. Fifth, for things that I couldn't eliminate, I looked to see what functions were spread among the many programs so I could consolidate into fewer programs. And that example of Adobe and my CRM would be one of those things. I can get rid of Adobe because my CRM allows me to sign with that program instead. Number six, I looked for less expensive software options. For instance, I needed a secure fax line, but there are cheaper options than the one I'm using. And then I reviewed for number seven, reviewed the different tiers of each program to see if I could downgrade. If I'm not using all the features for the tier that I'm subscribed to, I can move to a lower tier and reduce the expense. And finally, for number eight, I set reminders to auto cancel or to cancel the auto renew on software that was paid for a year in advance, but that I determined I no longer wanted or needed. So for instance, that fax line that I'm using is paid in advance. So I have to set a reminder for April so that I don't automatically renew in April when it comes due. Going through the above steps eliminated about $100 a month without sacrificing anything that was useful or necessary for my business. Next, I'm going to go through my personal subscriptions, but the business was really where the worst of it was. How much are you spending for subscription software per month? Do you have any idea? I'd encourage you to run through the 8 steps and see how much you can save. Also, as a bonus, think about which apps you're using that are charging your phone or your Apple account, your iTunes account every month. That's another thing that people get into trouble for. I don't personally have a problem with my phone subscriptions, but I know a lot of people do. So tally those up, see how much you can save by eliminating a few things. This is Rachel with Fontaine Organizing. I hope you found these tips helpful. Comment below, let me know what you discover.